All right, joining us now, Victor Shi and Brilyn Hollyhand. Victor is the youngest elected delegate for Joe Biden back in 2020. Brilyn is the co-chair of the RNC Youth Advisory Council and the editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette, both joining us here live, left and right. Biden today, by the way, tried to laugh off what very well could be the signature issue of his candidacy, or at least one of the big questions across the country, his age earlier today. Watch.
I know I don't look like it, but I've been around a while. I do remember that.
All right, that was the president earlier today. Victor, TikTok account for the president. What's obviously the end goal here is the youth vote, but why now? And do you think it actually sticks with all the issues involving the president and his age?
Look, I think launching a TikTok is an important tool that's in President Biden's toolbox. I think it's necessary. It's where young voters consume their information, and for a growing part of the electorate, I think it's a smart strategy from the Biden campaign. But I think one thing that's important to note here is that this campaign is more than just this TikTok account. They've launched a youth engagement program. They are really working hard to engage young people on the campaign trail. You're seeing people like Vice President Harris really be sort of the person who's out there and really mobilizing young people. We're seeing President Biden also trying to do that now on TikTok. And I think the closer we get to Election Day, you're going to start seeing a lot of these efforts, both online, but also in person on college campuses, really trying to work with them to make sure that young people are educated and informed about this election.
Brilyn, what'd you make of it?
Blake, I actually agree with the decision. For the past 13 months, I've been calling on my party to embrace this platform, not actually boycott it. Why? Because if Republicans leave it, the only voice in the platform is going to be the left. It's only going to be Joe Biden. And majority of my generation solely watches TikTok to get the information. So we have to get in that echo chamber. We have to be on there. I've been calling for it, but Biden hasn't. It appears that he's actually the hypocrite in chief. Just a few months ago, he signed a law to ban TikTok on all federal devices. His administration also declared the platform a, quote, national security threat. Yet last night, his team saw those thinking poll numbers and decided they were desperate enough to ignore their own federal ban and join that app.
What about it, Victor? I mean, the White House was asked about it today, basically said, you know, that's campaign stuff, and we still think there's national security concerns there.
Well, I think that's right. And you saw in some of what they said yesterday is that they still acknowledge that there are real national security threats. And I think the government and the campaign are two separate entities. You know, the government, I think you can talk about the national security concerns there. But when it comes to the campaign, they've tried to make it as safe as possible. And they've said that yesterday through campaign officials.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to make TikTok as safe as possible all you want, but you know the underlying issues there. But before we go, I want to ask you, because both of these candidates are in their late 70s, early 80s. You two have a long way to go to get there. And when folks are asked, Biden, Trump, or neither, are they too old for another term for president? Basically, 6 out of 10 Americans say both are too old, but the issue is seemingly a bigger one for the current commander-in-chief. Last word to you both. Victor, how much does that worry you? And do you really want a president potentially being 86 years old?
Look, you know, the age factor is a big problem, and I think, you know, both candidates are up there in age, and if it were my sort of, you know, decision, I would definitely want a younger person, but this is the choice facing our country right now. We have someone who's about to be 82, we have someone who's about to be 78, and those are both old people, but there's one that has gotten real things done for real people, and I think that's going to matter in this election, and that's going to be the choice that most Americans see heading into this election.
Blake, look at last week's special counsel report. We're not even concerned about age for my generation. When we're concerned about the mental fitness of one candidate, clearly one's more mentally competent than the other. Biden's own appointed special counsel determined he was too mentally incapacitated to be charged with the crime. Why should the American people believe he's mentally fit enough to be our commander-in-chief? It's not right. He's physically unfit to be president. He should be in a retirement home, not back in the Oval Office.
We'll leave it there, Victor.
One point on that?
Okay. Real quick, Victor.
The special counsel report, it was written by a lawyer, not a medical doctor, and I think people should sort of understand that fact.
Biden's DOJ appointed him, so.
Victor, Brilyn, thank you both. I know you could do this all day long. Appreciate the time.